occasione della cena di gala a conclusione delle giornate di prove e gare e in attesa di questa giornata conclusiva, il programma per il prossimo anno, in particolar modo è stato confermato il Mugello come sede delle finali mondiali per il 2025. Quindi sin d'ora, sin da questa Imola 2024, vi lancio un invito per le finali mondiali 2025 che si terranno nel nostro autodromo, perché ricordo l'autodromo è della Ferrari, ma in ogni caso
Plenty going on just behind them as we head into turn number one. Something of a pinch point. Max Micheli trying to make a move early on. Very, very good start, I believe, as we go through turn number one right now. Pushes himself through into V2 because he's got the inside line. He's world champion, Finale Mondiale champion. Welcome to Finale Mondiale. Why am I laughing? My director in my ears just said up. I think he meant up to you, Dave. Okay, fair enough. Welcome to Finale Mondiale here at the Ferrari Challenge. Final race of the season, the World Championship race for our Pirelli and Pirelli AM drivers. So very much looking forward to this 30 minutes plus one lap of action to come. And it will be the final part of the season for 2024. All the championships are done and dusted, but this is the non-championship World Championship race to be held here on the Imola circuit. But after this, it is the Ferrari show, and the parade will start from the city centre of Imola and wind its way through the city centre, enabling everyone to be so much a part of this. And it will, of course, wind its way towards the Autodromo Enzo and Dino Ferrari for the show to commence. The show will commence shortly for these Pirelli cars, Pirelli and Pirelli AMs. Giacomo Altoe, champion in our Pirelli drivers, and in our Pirelli AM drivers, the champion, of course, Klaus Sibranson. However, it counts as naught because this is a one-off race, non-championship, as I mentioned. And alongside me, Nico Spalek. This is it.
This is it, the final race here in Imola, the final race on this Hello Tarmac, and then it's down to the show part, which we also greatly look forward for. But we had two great races already this morning in Coppershell AM and in Coppershell and the 488. So if this is anything like the two predecessors, you're in for a good one.
Last night, all the champions were crowned in a fantastic gala dinner celebration. It was the night of the stars, and that Ferrari F80. Wow, what a car. I was there, I'm privileged to be a part of it. So I always feel about this, I was going to say weekend, but it's been so much longer than that. I think, Nico, that you and I have been here for 5, if not 6 days at this extraordinary celebration of everything that's brilliant about Ferrari.
Absolutely, it feels like a week, and we've talked about it over the last few days that it has grown, this event, since the 10-15 years that we've been allowed to be part of it. It was always glittering, but it's now massive and glittering, and you can see how many people are there on the grandstands, on the grid, and just being part, soaking in all the atmosphere. And as we said, there is a parade to come up. There are so many things yet to come. So,
oh yes, the show is only just beginning in so many regards, but the final showdown for our Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers, whether they're European or North American or from any other of the regions, they will be taken to the track to see who will be crowned world champion in either Pirelli or Pirelli Am at the conclusion of this race. Giacomo Altoe going from pole position with Luca Ludwig alongside him, and Luca has had a torrid weekend. He would love to put the travails of the weekend behind him and be able to take that world championship title. We have a number of our top North American racers here. Dylan Medler, who is champion in Ferrari Challenge Pirelli for North America. He is going from P3 on the grid, and for our Pirelli Am drivers as well. Bear in mind they have the white strip across the top of the windscreen. And Brian Cook. Just trying to see where on the grid. Whilst I research that, we continue to look at some of the images of all the drivers and personnel down there on the grid. It becomes a very busy place. It's busy with cars as well. Some 31 cars that will be taking part in this race. 31 cars, I kid you not. What a race it is going to be. And right now we're going to hear from one of the architects of this wonderful Finale Mondiale event, and that's Antonello Coletta.
Le finali mondiali sono ormai un grande classico, ritroviamo tanta passione, ritroviamo l'interesse dei nostri clienti per vedere delle macchine che normalmente sono o all'interno di musei o all'interno di collezioni private, dunque non sempre facili da poter ammirare. Quando si arriva alle finali mondiali è il momento dei bilanci, e il bilancio del 2024 non può che essere più che positivo. Cominciamo a vedere quello che è stata la stagione del Ferrari Challenge, un anno dei record in Europa, dei record in America, la conferma in UK, e un altro grande record lo abbiamo raggiunto nella serie regional in Giappone. Ma non c'è solo Challenge nella famiglia corse clienti, la più grande novità è stato l'esordio della 499P modificata, qualcosa di unico nel panorama del motorsport mondiale. Per la prima volta una vettura che difende i colori ufficiali di una casa costruttrice può essere acquistata da un cliente, e la partecipazione devo dire che è stata veramente molto importante. Una delle cose che ci contraddistinguono dagli altri costruttori è questa filiera che ci vede presenti fin dall'inizio con i corsi di pilotaggio fino alla Formula 1 clienti o la 499P modificata. Dunque diamo a tutti i nostri clienti la possibilità di sviluppare la loro passione con tutte le vetture da corsa possibili nel panorama del motorsport. Mi piace ricordare anche la vittoria di Le Mans. La Ferrari è riuscita non solo a confermare il grande risultato del 2023 anche nel 2024, ma a vincere le due edizioni con due equipaggi diversi. Dunque tanta passione, tanta fedeltà per il marchio Ferrari, e speriamo di ripetere i successi che ci hanno visto protagonisti quest'anno.
Thank you very much, Antonello Coletta, then just highlighting what this Ferrari Finale Mondiale is all about. And of course, I can see Stuart Marston there to the left-hand side of the screen there, one of our UK Ferrari Challenge drivers. And what it means, of course, to customers, to fans, and to all of us that believe in this extraordinary brand.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's all the success on the track, all the appeal off the track, and as he said, and as we have experienced, and as we are experiencing this week, it's so much more than the challenge. It's so much more than the hypercar even. I mean, everything comes together to create that vibe that's dare I say, irresistible.
Absolutely. So we're about 60 seconds away from the formation lap getting underway. This is a very big grid of cars, a very big grid of competitors that are champing at the bit to try and succeed in the Finale Mondiale race. And there is Antonello Coletta, and alongside is Andrea Miladisic, and also Chief Commercial and Marketing Officer Enrico Galliera there, all down on the grid, awaiting the start of what is the final Ferrari Challenge race of 2024. Certainly in Europe. When it comes to North America, we will be racing with Formula One in Las Vegas. Another non-championship event as the cars are released on their formation lap. Then let's get ready to go racing. The Richard Mille safety car leads the cars away. Giacomo Altoe pole position. I will bring you a full grid. Here it is. Armin Arifpour goes from P31. He is a Pirelli AM driver, as is David Ekabadze and Hanno Laskovski. They have the white strip across the top of their windscreen. Kim Eriksson and Ofer Levy go from P28 and P27. Then it's Sebastian Mascaro and Gianmarco Marzialetti, P26 and 25. Otto Blank and Frank Szczesniak from P24 and P23. Then it's Tony Davis and Jay Logan going from P22 and 21. Jason McCarthy is a Pirelli driver, red strip across the top of his windscreen. Andreas Berg Sorensen, an AM driver. Then it's Herbert Geis and James Owen, P18 and 17. Max Mugelli goes from P16, Angelo Fontana from 15. Then it's Axel Sartigan and Andrew Morrow. They're on the 7th row of our starting grid, with Danilo Del Favero and Roberto Perina, P12 and P11. Klaus Sebranson and Matthias Perez Companc share row 5 of our grid. Ahead of them, Marco Zanassi and Philippe Barron. To row 3, where we find Luigi Coluccio and Ben Svalint, two young superstars in the making. Hendrik Viol and Dylan Medler are on the 2nd row, and on the front row of our Finale Mondiale starting grid, Luca Ludwig, but pole position is with this man, Giacomo Altoe. So Giacomo Altoe, who is champion for Emil Frey Racing, has had such a stellar year. He put it on pole position for this Finale Mondiale race.
Back here in Imola for the Finale Mondiale event, we had qualifying in a very critical situation. There was a lot of standing water on track, but yeah, really difficult qualifying, but we are back on pole. I'm super happy. Only 95 thousandths of gap to P2, so it was really tough, but yeah, we are starting on pole for the race, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Giacomo, thanks for taking time to talk to us. He has had a superb season. Can he crown it all with the biggest crown, Nico, the Finale Mondiale crown?
We're 35 minutes or so away from knowing. He talked about the conditions here. It was very wet in qualifying. It was still wet in the first race this morning. It came good and lended itself towards more of the slicks. Now I think there is no question anymore. Our Pirelli drivers will be on slick tires for this race.
I think you're absolutely right, which is absolutely fine, providing you stay on the racing line. I think if you step off the racing line, then it might be altogether a little bit more different. But these are very talented drivers, and they will be able to handle the conditions that are in front of them right now. So Richard Mille safety car will peel off into the pit lane. It will be the responsibility of Giacomo Altoe and Luca Ludwig to control the rolling start. So safety car late into the pit lane, but Luca Ludwig, I can't help but feel, Nico, he's not had the rub of the green. This weekend, I saw one car coming into the pit lane. I was saying Luca Ludwig has not had the rub of the green for this weekend. Is he going to be able to put it all right now? He's going to have to try and get by Giacomo Altoe. One of the opportunities to do that right at the start of the race, but Giacomo Altoe will be wise to that. Through the final kink on this start-finish straight that isn't, they come. Lighting gantry. You will see when the lights go out, and when they do, the drivers will be full chat flat as they head towards the first chicane for the first time of asking. You can see there just how determined Luca Ludwig was. Tried to outbrake. He's through the gravel. That will play into the hands a little bit of Dylan Medler, who is able to go through and pick up that P2 position, I would have thought, but no, Luca Ludwig outdrags him on the exit of the chicane. Hendrik Viol looking lively behind him. Hendrik Viol, the best of our Pirelli AM drivers, but Giacomo Altoe is escaping up the road already.
Absolutely, and there is Hendrik Viol having to defend from Luigi Coluccio. One is an AM, one is a Pirelli driver. Obviously, Viol wants to have as many Pirelli drivers with the red sunstrip behind him towards the next AM driver, but it was Giacomo Altoe who for a moment looked like under threat, but now he has held on to P1. Luca Ludwig going through the gravel meant there is a bit of a gap, and Altoe will try and maximize that opportunity to get up the road.
Yes, he'll try and make that gap as big as he possibly can. Andreas Berg Sorensen sent a shot there, running in this fantastic race. P16 at the moment for Andreas Berg Sorensen. And the order overall, Hendrik Viol you can see there, but Giacomo Altoe, what a pace, 1.6 seconds to the good already. There is Matthias Perez Compact. Matthias Perez Compact being chased down by James Owen. Looked like Roberto Perina maybe had got by the Matthias Perez Compact car. Yes, indeed he had, so that's moved Roberto Perina up the order. First lap in the book, Giacomo Altoe. Let's get a live gap. It was 1.722. It's reduced to 1.355. And let's see what Giacomo Altoe can do about increasing that margin. Luca Ludwig will do everything he can to narrow it. But we know that Giacomo Altoe, once he's got his nose in front, he is clinical in terms of his execution of a perfect lap. And we've seen it time and time again across so many different circuits, across so many different conditions. Giacomo Altoe, undoubtedly a rising star. Now, as we get a replay of the start, undoubtedly Luca Ludwig with a good start. Just watch it from this overhead shot. You can see they both accelerate at exactly the same time, and it was good traction from Luca Ludwig. They were absolutely side by side going into the first chicane. However, with his nose just in front, Giacomo Altoe and Luca Ludwig running through the gravel, that just really reduced his momentum. As around I went Frank Szczesniak, I believe. So we can watch from on board as Hendrik Viol then in the number 92 car was really taking it to Dylan Medler, and Marco Zanassi and Klaus Zabranson having just a little barge between them. No harm done as they continued, but Marco Zanassi looking very, very racy.
Yeah, and Marco Zanassi has been one of the very quick AM drivers. Forgettable qualifying because of an incident in very difficult conditions, but apart from that, he has really, really been quick. And there you can see he's gapped Klaus Zabranson a little bit. A few Pirelli drivers between them and Hendrik Viol, who's leader in class. Giacomo Altoe with the fastest lap, marginally quicker than Luca Ludwig last time around, 1.8 seconds, the leaders.
There you can see the Klaus Zabranson car, and Klaus Zabranson has Andrew Murrow right behind him. Andrew Murrow is a very quick driver as well. So Hendrik Viol, who's got Bence Valent for company right behind him now. Then it's Philip Barron, of course. So Hendrik Viol is leading in the Pirelli AMs, and Giacomo Altoe leading in the Pirelli class. We are hearing from some of our production team that maybe the first few drops of rain are beginning to come down, Nico. That could change the shape of things to come.
Absolutely, that is, and there you can see a few drops coming down, maybe. The tarmac little bit looks like it's getting wet in some patches. That's going to be interesting, something to watch. Obviously, there are some drops on the camera lens, so how much will the rain come down? Will it affect things? And there is Andrew Morrow with an attempt on Klaus Zabranson. I don't think he's going to be able to do it here into the chicane, but certainly looks like our UK driver is quicker.
He is, though, under pressure from Roberto Perina as well. So, as we've said so many times before, when you're attacking ahead, you don't want to leave yourself vulnerable to a potential overtake from behind. So, Andrew will be very wary of that, as now pretty much Lots of the drivers with wipers going. I could hear a Pirelli tyre protesting in the background as Giacomo Altoe continues to lead. Luca Ludwig and Dylan Medler and Luigi Coluccio and Benz Valint, who have got by Hendrik Viol. And that means Hendrik Viol has only got the cushion of Philip Barron between himself and Marco Zanassi and Klaus Sebrandsson.
That is not a very soft cushion. Philip Barron, a very quick and aggressive driver, and obviously once Zanassi and Sebrandsson will have Hendrik Viol in front of them, they will feel like this is the moment. And now you can see that certainly visibility from the camera lens has been reduced, so we believe that the rain is picking up.
These cars are going to be, they're going to be, well, very different to handle now over the next laps. We can already see some cars that have gone wide, Nico, because we're thinking that most of the drivers, damn near all of the drivers out there, probably on slick tyres, they're going to be very difficult to control these cars in damp conditions. And the rain is coming down properly now. So it's going to be who is the bravest, who is able to hold on to the car. You can see the Klaus Sebrandsson car, the back end of it really, really moving as the conditions are altering significantly, lap by lap by lap. Now, 23.5 minutes remaining of this race with all drivers out there potentially on slick tyres. This is going to be very, very difficult indeed.
Indeed, and Robert Perina has made it past, or he's in a battle with Andrew Morrow, and now through the chicane he has made the move stick. So it's now Perina who is chasing Klaus Sebrandsson, who in turn is chasing Marco Zanassi. I think it's really some parts of the track.
Yeah,
the first sector is looking more wet than the rear part of the track, so we will see how that develops. We've seen that Amin Arifpour has come into the pits now. I don't know if the team is working on changing the tires. He's making a daredevil strategy. Again, as we said before, this category, this series is not built for lightning quick pit stops. So if it gets real wet, it's something that race control will have to look at if they intervene or if they...
Oh, that's Klaus Sebrandsson. My goodness me. Across the grass where he was but a passenger at that point. That will be inevitably a safety car. Who did he collect? And it was...
Luigi Coluccio, I think, sorry.
Thank you, Nico. Let's ride on board with him here. Well, I think you're right, it is Luigi Coluccio. I mean, you know, that was just Luigi was just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Of course, and that is maybe just a testament to that in the first part of the track, it's just so much more wet than over the rest. And
Tony Davis was in having his tyres changed. I could see that. And look how many drivers are jumping at the opportunity now to get those tyres changed. Frank Szczesniak and Ofer Levy. Two drivers doing the same now. The safety car has been called for. No surprise there for the stricken Klaus Sebrandsson and Luigi Coluccio car, Nico.
Yeah, and we expect that recovery to take more than just a lap or two. So very quick call by some of the teams to get the tyre change done now. Obviously, that will send the drivers to the back of the pack, but...
Red flag, Nico. The race has been suspended. There is Klaus Sebrandsson in the car. And it was really, really unfortunate. He's talking on the radio as we speak. Now, he's actually increasing sideways in terms of speed across the grass. Through no fault of his, he can't control the car on damp grass, and unfortunately, the impact on Luigi Coluccio. So here is Hendrik Viol, the Scuderia Prague driver, who was leading in Pirelli AMS. As the race was suspended, it was Giacomo Altoe leading from Luca Ludwig and Dylan Medler. In the AM drivers, Hendrik Viol from Marco Zanassi, and then it was Andrew Morrow. Nico was absolutely right. Roberto Perina had got past Andrew Morrow, but of course that's one Pirelli driver and a Pirelli AM driver. Well, that's great to see. Luigi Coluccio is perfectly okay and he's out of the car. Very, very unfortunate situation there. There was absolutely nothing Klaus Sebrandsson could do to avoid making contact, and there is Klaus Sebrandsson out of the car. it's a bitter end to his season, and he goes to apologise to Luigi Coluccio. And the camaraderie inside the Ferrari Challenge paddock is really, really good. And yeah, you can see there that, you know, Klaus was explaining, I'm so sorry, nothing I could do. I was just skating across the grass, and Luigi was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. These things happen in motor racing, and as I've said more than once, this sport that we love is oh so beautiful, but on occasions it can be brutal as well. So with 21 minutes and 18 seconds plus 1 lap remaining on the Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am World Final race, the race has been red flagged for the recovery of both the Luigi Coluccio car and the car of Klaus Sebranson. So all the cars parked up in the pit lane. I don't imagine that the suspension is going to be a long time, truthfully. As I say that, we can see that the race will resume at 12:05. So that's in just about 9.5 minutes time. So credit to the teams here who have done a really good job in terms of recovering stricken cars, Nico, and it would appear it's not going to take them too long. So confirmation then that the race will resume at 5 minutes past 12. There you can see the outside of the Casa Ferrari, which is a fantastic addition to the paddock here as part of Finale Mondiale. And all the cars down there in the pit lane awaiting the 12:05 time when we will go back to racing, which is around about 7 or 8 minutes time from now, Nico.
Yeah, indeed, and it will be interesting if the race control have to have any reshuffling to do, because sometimes we have to look at the regulations. They go back 1 lap from the red flag, and so any overtakes made just before that might be effectively reversed. So that's something that race control is looking at during those minutes, and we will monitor that as well as things stand. As we said, Giacomo Altoe, Luca Ludwig, Dylan Madler, and Benz Valent. And in the AMs, it's Henrik Viol. Behind him, Philip Barron. Then it would be Luigi Coluccio, but obviously he not in the running anymore, but thankfully okay. And Marcus Zanazzi and Klaus Sebranson, P2 and P3 in the AMs. P8 and P9 overall, or rather than P7 and P8.
Yes. So very busy down there in the pit lane, of course. And just a reminder that Klaus Sebranson and Luigi Coluccio are perfectly okay, Nico. And That gives you, there's the Klaus Branson car, reinforcing what I was saying about how quickly the recovery teams have operated here at Imola for the entire duration of this Finale Mondiale event. They've been really efficient. Credit to them.
Absolutely, and that obviously means Andrew Morrow is actually running in P3 because obviously Klaus Branson had that incident. Apologies.
Don't be silly. You know, the timing screen won't update until we get the next completed lap, and that's we're still where are we? 5.5 minutes away from the next lap commencing.
Yeah. Interestingly, there was no more work done in the pit lane on tires, so we somewhat were distracted by what happened on the track and the incident from the weather factor. It seems like the weather and the rain has subsided again.
Yes.
So the tendency that we believe is that it's all going to be slicks from here on out.
I would agree with that.
But obviously that means some of the cars changed to wet tires.
I know.
Talk about being caught wrong-footed there, but sometimes you just have to go with what the moment dictates.
Can I just say, that's kind of my luck. That's where I would be.
Welcome to the Ferrari World Finals with Dave. I think we're in a good spot, 5 minutes away from the restart. Glad everybody who was involved in that incident is okay.
Yes.
And yeah, 21 minutes, 18 seconds plus a lap when we go back.
Look at this. The volunteer team that enable us to enjoy the sport that we love. Around the world, Nico, those that are dressed in orange do such a great job for us, and a great job has been done now. Though I have to say, there's two working harder than one.
Delegation is a key art in work, as we all know.
You think he was management?
Absolutely. Imola Autodromo really treating us well. And they are really working very, very hard to be the best host that they can possibly be here at Imola for the World Finals.
Oh, goodness. Sorry for the levity, but there we are. So Giacomo Altoe then leading the race, and yeah, he had got up the road, and he of course, is the one that's disadvantaged with the stoppage because he had a good margin of 6.8 seconds. Giacomo Altoe driving for the Emil Frey racing team, and Ludovica is down there with the Emil Frey team right now.
Good morning, guys. A very suggestive and important moment here from the pit lane of Imola. A few seconds ago, I've told with one of the members of the Emil Frey racing team who follow Giacomo Altoe in this race and during this season, and they told me that they decided to stay with the slick tires, but they are so afraid because there is the possibilities that another driver can should and can decide to put the rain and the wet tire, but the decide of the Emil Frey racing team is to stay with the slick because now the asphalt and the track is wet, but is in a mixed condition. So it's a very important moment for them. But the Emil Frey racing decided to stay with the slick tires.
Okay, so the gist of that is Giacomo Altoe staying on the slicks, Nico. And that's what we thought might happen. And certainly the track conditions at the moment would indicate that that's probably the right choice. But of course, if there are any other showers that come down, then it might make Giacomo vulnerable. But as our RF camera operator there doing his level best for me to try and ascertain if anyone has stayed and moved to the wets and they're going to stay on the wets. It's, of course, the teams know, and they have weather radar. They know what's likely to happen. But what we can ascertain from Ludovica there is that Giacomo Altoe, they've decided, the Emil Frey racing team, leave him on the slicks.
Yeah, and I think that's a strategy, as we already said. We didn't see lots of activity in the pit lane.
No, we didn't.
But obviously, if you're far in the back, it might be worth the risk because certainly while the track is wet, you will have an advantage.
Yep.
And if it starts raining again, then you're exactly in the right position. So if you effectively are, let's say, P21, P22, and you really don't have a chance for a top spot, remember this is a one-race dash for glory. You don't get lots of a consolidation except for maybe pride for being P14 or 18 or 24. maybe it's worth the risk. So let's see what will happen. We're about 1 minute only away from the race getting back underway. Hello, great to have you all here. Enjoy the show here in the Ferrari Challenge, and then obviously the show that will follow afterwards.
Yes, and what a show that promises to be. So we are but 30 seconds, or as near as makes no difference, away from the resumption of this race. Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli Am. Who will take the honours in each of those categories and become the world champion? Non-championship race. It is the race for the honour of the Finale Mondiale title. So the safety car will lead the cars out of the pit lane in 4 seconds from now. Make that 3, make it 2, 1, and let's go. Well, they clearly follow race direction rather than me, because they were a tad tardy, second behind according to my timing. But there you can see the Richard Mille safety car. We assume that the Richard Mille safety car will be out just for 1 lap to take the cars around. You can see that it really was a shower, Nico, wasn't it? And it was a short-lived shower that came down. Hendrik Viol that we ride on board with now, the Scuderia Prague driver, upholding the honours of Pirelli Am at the moment because he is P1, Marco Zanassi P2, and then Andrew Morrow P3 because, of course, Klaus Sebranson finding the grass and the barriers, and also Luigi Coluccio. Pirelli drivers Giacomo Altoe, Luca Ludwig, Dylan Medler. This is a renewed opportunity, dare I say it, Nico, for Luca Ludwig potentially.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, everybody will now be liking their chances to move up the order. Also, the likes of Marco Zanassi, who's already shown how quick he is in the AMs.
Yep.
Yeah, as you can see, the clock has started ticking down, so we're effectively racing again. Obviously, no overtaking until the safety car has come in, and then it's going to be single file restart behind Giacomo Altoe. We expect that we will get the information that safety car will come in at the conclusion of this lap. But no official indication of that as of yet. The team's anticipating that indication as well.
So, as we can look at the track here, Nico, I mean, it wasn't just a short and not very intense shower because the track looks bone dry, doesn't it?
It does look dry.
I appreciate what you were saying. It seemed to be certain parts of the track more than others.
Yeah, that's certainly what we felt, and it was exactly the very beginning of the lap which looked the wettest. Now, safety car is in this lap, officially confirmed.
See that part leading in here, that does look damper. You can see some spray coming off the back of the safety car just momentarily. So we will see. Big weaving going on from side to side from Giacomo Altoe, Luca Ludwig, altogether different. We will see who will do what in this, and by the time the cars have reached the start-finish line, probably 17.5 minutes plus a lap. And that's interesting. You see very much the dry line there. And providing the drivers who are on slick stay on that dry line, they should be perfectly okay. It's when you go offline that, as we saw, to Klaus Branson's cost, you know, its grip conditions are altogether very, very different.
Yeah, indeed. And again, it's very different in different parts of the track. And that means, for example, up into the chicane for the first few laps is going to be difficult to try and make an overtake there, simply because you're going to be on the wet line if you go offline. Equally, where you usually defend on the inside is exactly where it's wet. So that will make for very, very interesting choices for the drivers.
So Giacomo is backing them up. Luca Ludwig needs to try and anticipate when Giacomo is going to go for it. And you can see that he is champing at the bit here. It's a renewed opportunity for him to try and wrestle away the lead of this race from Giacomo Altoe. And Giacomo's doing a good job of stacking them all up here. Nico, when is he going to go for it? Not yet, not yet, not yet. And still he's weaving from side to side. Look, every driver is saying, come on, come on, come on. When are you going to go? When are you going to go? We're ready. Now he goes. And so too do Luca Ludwig and Ben Valent and Dylan Medler and every other driver as well. So let's go racing as racing is resumed, Nico.
Marco Zanazzi is alongside Philip Barron. Really anticipated that very well. He would like to get on terms with Henrik Viol. Let's see, into the chicane. Can he make a move? No. Philip Barron, I think, held on, and I actually think Andrew Morrow has taken the opportunity and gotten by him.
I think it is absolutely the case. Well picked out, Nico, but for me, Luca Ludwig is much closer to Giacomo Altoe than he was just a few moments ago. Marco Zanassi in strife now. It was Roberto Perina that had got by him, and there's Andrew Morrow, although Andrew Morrow is trying to come back now, and so too is Marco Zanassi. So there's quite a battle going on there, and here you can see Roberto Perina in strife there, not in strife, but getting the better of Philip Barron, and so too is that the car. I was just trying to pick out which one. There's Henrik Viol. There's Roberto Perina holding on to that car. It's James Owen. James Owen who has vaulted up the order, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost out of nowhere on the restart. That's something we have to have another look at, but certainly helped reshuffle the order there in the front. There is Henrik Viol. He is leading the AMs. Behind him is Roberto Perina, and then already James Owen, who was in the top 3 or top 5 even just a few minutes ago. He is now running in P2 in the AMs. Now, would that be a surprise if he could really mix it up with Henrik Viol, Giacomo Altoe? 8/10 to the good, and we will see where the gap is after one full lap completed after the restart. Can Luca Ludwig do something about the race lead? Not for the time being.
You're absolutely, I'm astounded. I'm delighted for James Owen, a great driver, but it was only by virtue of the fact that he wasn't running, as you say, in or around the top 3, but right now he most certainly is. He's running P2 for Meridian, Modena and Engstler Motorsport, and is chasing down Roberto Perina, who is indeed a Pirelli driver. Henrik Viol, of course, is our Pirelli AM leader, but James Owen P2, Andrew Morrow P3. And ignore the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen for the moment. We have had transponder issues with the signal that's being sent from the cars to race control. Here's Ben Valent, but ahead of him is this man, Dylan Medler. And does this tell us what happened? Well, certainly James Owen was on the back of Marco Zanassi, as Marco Zanassi and Andrew Morrow were trading places, and he was just in the right place at the right time and was able to take advantage of that, Nico.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of Marco Zanassi defending against Andrew Morrow and didn't quite recognize that there was another AM driver coming up, and James Owen said, yeah, okay, 2 places. Now we have a drive-through penalty awarded, if you will, for Tony Davis. Unfortunately, he was leaving the pits when the light was red. That is indicated on our timing screen. Now, in fairness, Tony Davis not one of the front runners, but obviously sad for him that his race is compromised, and it sometimes happens in these very unclear situations. So we go back to our race action. Luca Ludwig 2 seconds behind Giacomo Altoe. Last time we took a gap, and it stays roughly the same.
So Giacomo Altoe, Luca Ludwig, Dylan Medler, the top 3 for Pirelli drivers. For the AM drivers, it is Henrik Viol from James Owen, from Andrew Morrow. Here is Ben Valent, currently running P4, so therefore not a podium place at the moment. Luca Ludwig, well, barring the kitchen sink, he's thrown everything out of the window in the quest to try and get on terms with Giacomo Altoe. But as I said earlier on in our program, Giacomo Altoe is almost clinical in his execution.
That is true, although we have seen both drivers making some amazing overtakes, both in Portimao as well as in La Castellet. It went both ways, so they are so good in defending, but they're so good in attacking as well. So sometimes they come at the most unexpected moments. So it's not all over. 1.5 seconds between them. Dylan Medler another 2.5 seconds down the road, and the battle in the AMs is really heating up. There is Philip Barron, who has gone by, I believe, both Andrew Morrow and Marco Zanazzi. And if Andrew Morrow is clever, he will try and through a line towards the Philip Barron car and try to get pulled and pulled and pulled all the way back up to James Owen, who is now actually behind Henrik Vior with no more Pirelli driver between them.
Yes, indeed. He has got by Roberto Perina, so now it's a two-way fight for P1 in the AM drivers with James Owen doing a supreme job. There's Andrew Morrow. There's Marco Zanazzi. There the cars run down under the Finale Mondiale 2024 banner, and now the rain is coming again. So this might be the reason for a little bit more caution being observed by some of the drivers, because it is raining all over again, and Bens Valent has come into the pit lane.
Yeah, he's the first one of those in the front, certainly, who has come in, and there is now an overtake. Marco Zanazzi having a little bit more confidence maybe in the grip level on the outside of Andrew Morrow. We've seen that go wrong already, but Andrew Morrow now on the dry line, which is still dry, with a better trajectory, and he's made the move on Philip Barron.
Can he get the car slowed down and through the chicane? Yes, he can. Brilliant driving from Andrew Morrow. I think that was Max Mugelli coming in, as well as Herbert Guys. So a number of drivers are diving in now, and yeah, the rain is coming down. So, well, Andrew Morrow, that was a supreme move, full of confidence there that he managed to get by. And look at all these cars that are coming in now. Kim Eriksson, Sebastian Mascaro, Hanno Laskowski as well.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, Andrew Morrow almost metaphorically, or British and rain, obviously that works. Sorry about that.
There was no need for that.
Luca Ludwig, Giacomo Altori, that gap is down to 0.6 of a second, actually less than that.
Luca Ludwig, dare I say it, one of the traits of his experience, as you mentioned in previous programs, driving on the Nordschleife where he lived at, rain, ice, snow, everything. Luca Ludwig, if anyone is going to be able to propel a car in challenging conditions, it's going to be this man. So Giacomo Altoe, Luca Ludwig, this is for the lead. Luca Ludwig goes to the outside of Giacomo Altoe. Giacomo Altoe now defends that through Rivazza 1, now number 2. And Luca Ludwig is pressuring Giacomo Altoe. Will either of them turn into the pit lane? No! They keep going on slick tyres, we believe, in very, very difficult conditions where it's damp on that tarmac.
Yeah, absolutely. Giacomo Altoe, we know, was on slicks, because we know from Ludovica that he was there. Some drivers coming out of the pits now. This is going to be very, very dramatic. Among the two of them, Luca Ludwig going straight. I think he will get out of the gravel there, but that was certainly not the way he wanted to go. And who is the car behind him? That's one of the M drivers.
That's cost him valuable time, hasn't it? And valuable momentum, that's for sure.
Yeah, and obviously doesn't help keep the tires, the Pirelli P0 slicks clean, and he's struggling with it through there. Will this rain totally change the dynamic, because some of the drivers who are now on wets, like the 370 car, and that
has gone
is
through. That's
Jay Logan.
Jay Logan, for the Boardwalk Ferrari driver, of course. Now he's on the right rubber, isn't he? And therefore,
well, he will obviously, he's only unlapping himself, so he's not taking part in the battle for the lead. But some of the other drivers who are now on wets, will the remaining 9 minutes be enough for that to really upset the standings at the very front?
Whilst all that's been going on, James Owen has picked up the lead of the Pirelli AM race. Now it could be, let's look at this as an equation. Did James Owen start the race on wet tyres?
Well, he didn't make any pit stops. We have some indication on our timing screen who did. Gianmarco Marzaletti, one of them. Bens Valent, obviously, we saw making that. And there is obviously very, very obvious.
Because James Owen is like...
Yeah, that could definitely be that he actually went for the risk and started the race on slicks or on wets, or he changed it during the red flag and we didn't see it, because now he is up the road and he is leading overall. This is James Owen on his way. I dare say, I don't want to jinx it, but he's certainly looking like on his way. Now, we do have a pit stop battle in the Pirelli. Everything that the Ferrari Challenge can offer you, it's here on display.
You are not kidding me. You are not kidding me. So for Emil Frey, in comes Giacomo Altoe, Mertel Motorsport for Luca Ludwig. This is James Owen. James Owen then leading not only in Pirelli Am, but leading the race overall. Roberto Perina leading for the Pirelli drivers. And, well, James Owen, clearly the conditions to his liking right now. That's for sure. Now, Giacomo Altoe, Luca Ludwig have come in, so that is going to elevate other Pirelli drivers up the order like Jason McCarthy and Philip Barron. So the order on the left-hand side of your screen, we have James Owen, 7 minutes plus 1 lap away from winning Finale Mondiale. The same to be said for Roberto Perina. James Owen, Meridian Modena, Engstler driver, who's promised so much across the course of the season. Another driver that hasn't always had the rub of the green. Was it a tactical move by the team? Was it James's decision? Well, one thing is for sure, he's still having to pedal the car, and that's not easy, even on the right tyres, Nico, as he runs over the grass, not able to make the chicane. So it's tricky. It is tricky.
Definitely, we can see from our timing screen, both Altoe and Ludwig are out of the pit lane. Altoe's team certainly quicker in that pit stop, certainly got Altoe out of the pit lane earlier. So that close battle is currently not close, but we will see over the last 6 minutes, and we could see just what might happen. And obviously all the other drivers still also have to keep it on the track, because the safety car now would effectively end the race.
Yes, you're right. 5 3/4 minutes. James Owen leading the race overall, leading in Pirelli Ams. Gianmarco Marcialetti, P2 in the Pirelli Am drivers. Ofer Levy is P3 in the Pirelli Am drivers. This is all mixed up. Pirelli drivers, it's Roberto Perina, Ferrari of Seattle, ahead of Benz Valent now, and Jason McCarthy. So, James Owen then. Dare I say it, his home region of the UK, Welsh Wales. they know about this sort of weather.
Absolutely, Gianmarco Marcialetti is just overtaking Roberto Perina, another AM driver. So we've got 2 AM drivers at the front, but in fairness, the gap between Owen and Marcialetti is 43 seconds. So in theory, James Owen can really take it easy. But sometimes driving it extra slow is even more dangerous than trying to be at least close to the limit. But these conditions really, I mean, on sticks, it's hopeless now.
Yeah, they've changed significantly, haven't they? So here is James Owen, and unbelievably, Nico, he is about to come up on the back of the previous Pirelli Am race leader, which is Hendrik Viol, as out goes the 370 car from Boardwalk Ferrari, Jay Logan, which I am tempted to say, Nico, this will be the end of the race with 4 minutes left on the clock. The safety car is called for. Wow, this means that, according to me, looking at the timing screen, that James Owen is P1 Pirelli Am, P1 in Pirelli, Benz Valent.
Yeah, and he was the first when the rain came back, first one to come in, and his team, a great shout out to Ferrari Budapest Rosso Corsa. They made the right move, they made the daring move. Hindsight is always very good to have, but they really got it, and Benz Valent, he is on route to being world champion in the Ferrari Challenge. It is, if you had the sequence of podiums that we expect to have by the end of the race.
Look at this. Look at the extra. There's Bobby, who is Bobby Thompson, James's driver coach there. Oh, my goodness me. This is just an extraordinary. I mean, the Ferrari Challenge delivers drama, Nico.
Plenty, but in the buckets. By the bucketfuls, yeah. The safety car is allowing some of the drivers to get past.
Yeah, and that's so he can pick up the race leader, that is James Owen, whose best finish this season was 2 P4s at the opening round in Mugello. Wow, what about that? What about that? Well, what do we say sometimes? Expect the unexpected.
Yeah. If you got those podiums, I want your lottery numbers, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'd have never predicted that this race would shape out the way it has shaped out, Nico.
Yeah, no, Giacomo Altori, by virtue and by dint of his quick pit stop, actually salvages a podium from this. P3 probably not where he might have felt he would end up, but I mean, what a race and what a week we have had, and with the weather being the way it was here in Imola all week, it's almost fitting that it would come down to this, and the weather really playing this much of a role. James Owen and his team, the Engstler team, in fairness, know quite a little bit about winning strategies and have a lot of experience, and maybe they also have a different weather app from some of the others.
Well, and you know what? It's team game as much as a driver's game, isn't it? Because behind every driver there is a team that's working hard, and the proof of just how hard they work is them calling the strategy exactly right on this occasion. It's sometimes really difficult to predict, isn't it? But you don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, they made the right call, Nico. They made the right call.
Absolutely. 1 minute plus a lap remaining. I think that where we are on the track, it might just work out that the safety car will cross the timing line or just won't. Obviously, under these conditions, there is no going back, at least we believe, to another lap of racing, or actually, I think the safety car is actually slowing down now to not extend the race by another lap.
Yes.
And I think that's if there is no chance to get the cars off the track with another racing lap to do, and even that would be quite dangerous in these conditions, to release the cars for another dash for glory, or actually the likelihood is a dash for another incident.
Yeah, I think you're right. So yeah, I mean that is pedestrian-like, isn't it? Got to hold off for 8 seconds before crossing that line, Nico. There are many stories we could tell.
The time has ticked off, and now the safety car accelerates again, and it's all about timing, you know. With the safety car, with the pit stop, so that means we're on the final lap of Ferrari Challenge 2024 Championship races, including the World Finals. But there is not going to be an overtake to be done here.
No, there isn't. No, there isn't. So there will be some delight down there. That's you can see the celebrations down there. I met James's father in the paddock earlier on in the week, and to be fair, we were having quite a laugh about various things, which I won't go into right now on the air because that would be inopportune for the remainder of my pitiful career. But well done to James Owen then, and well done to the Engstler team, and well, for Ben Svalint, what a result as well for our Pirelli drivers. But let's bear in mind, not only, Nico, does James Owen take the honours in Pirelli Am, he's actually finishing the race first overall.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 Am drivers will finish the race overall. So
sorry, Gianmarco. Yes, you as well.
If they're a little bit cheeky, they might just crash the podium for the Pirellis, because actually, you know.
Well.
No, they won't. Obviously, they won't. But it is quite a remarkable achievement. I don't think that we ever had that in a world final. I know that we had it in qualifying and in races, certainly in Europe over the years, on rare occasions. But I think we all understand and we all know that the weather certainly played a part in the outcome of this race. Strategy played a role. I think to a degree maybe also luck played a role.
Yes,
did Ben Svalent come across the final few turns just at the right moment, where Emil Ferrari Racing just didn't have the opportunity because it wasn't raining as much when a few seconds earlier it was Giacomo Altori who came past the same spot. some of these things we will try and find out. Some of these things we'll probably never know.
And actually, probably better that way. Maybe.
Maybe. It's been an amazing season, the Ferrari Challenge. That is for sure. And it ends with a memorable one. Wherever you sit on the luck and misfortune part of this race, it ends with a memorable one. The safety car comes in.
It's down now to the checkered flag. Couple of kinks to be done. And James Owen wins the race and wins in Trofeo Pirelli and the World Final. Benz Valent takes a victory for Trofeo Pirelli, and in so doing takes the World Final in Trofeo Pirelli ahead of Roberto Perena. So James Owen, Gianmarco Marzioletti P1 and P2 for the Pirelli AM drivers. For the Pirelli drivers, Benz Valent P1. And James Owen then the Meridian Modena Engstler driver. There is Benz Valent's father, Tibor. And here, though, is our world champion, James Owen. Yeah, he'll be pretty pleased about that. And it's richly deserved, to be honest. As I mentioned, James, he's always been there, Nico, or thereabouts. And as I say, opened the campaign this year with 2 P4 places as Roberto Perena crosses the timing line. He takes P2 in the World Finals, as well as P2 in the Championship in North America. And Giacomo Altoe, as you say, salvages at least a podium out of that. So those drivers that we're going to see for Pirelli on the podium: Benz Valent, Roberto Perena, and Giacomo Altoe. For the AM drivers, it's going to be James Owen, Gianmarco Marzioletti, and Ofer Levy. So 2 North American drivers will be on the podiums for Pirelli and Pirelli AM in the World Championship race. So James Owen then is pretty pleased about that, and is taking the car downhill now to head towards the pit lane and the delight of his team. Let's take a look at the confirmation of the result then. James Owen, winner. Gianmarco Marzioletti, P2. Benz Valent, winner for Pirelli, ahead of Roberto Perena. Then it was Ofer Levy, Giacomo Altoe, Danilo Del Favro, Dylan Medler, Jason McCarthy, and Philip Barron. They occupied the top 10 places, ahead of Luca Ludwig, Andreas Berg Sorensen, Herbert Guys, Max Mugelli, Andrew Morrow, Matthias Perez Companc, Marco Zanazzi, Hendrik Viol, Sebastian Mascaro, P19 for Sebastian. And they were ahead of Otto Blank, Kim Eriksson, Tony Davis, Hanno Luskoski, Armin Arifpour, Jay Logan, and no classifications for Axel Sardingen, Frank Szczesniak, Angelo Fontana, and David Akabadze did not start the race. Drama, drama, drama. And there is James Owen victorious as he climbs out of his 296 Challenge car and is congratulated by his father. Oh, fantastic stuff. Well done, James. They are truly thrilled with that. John Dillon is there to congratulate him as well. Dare I say it in this program, James Owen was telling me that John Dillon was something of a breakdance star in the past.
Only in the past?
Yes, I'm sure he still can, but there you go. Only because James has been successful, if I said that. So, John, apologies to you, but James asked me to do that, and given that he's won, I feel I should. Gianmarco Marzioletti, P2 in Pirelli, steady on. P2 in the Pirelli AM drivers. I mean, they are one of the most emotional teams, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, remember, the car is in park for May, so don't ruin it. It still has to pass technical checks, but I mean, you can tell how much it means, and you could tell how much it means also for Benz Valent, who again, him and the team and him, and the car, a combination. Amazing, amazing.
We love seeing the success and the joy. And Gianmarco Mazzioletti is... I spoke to him just a few days ago when he was on the air with my Italian colleague, Alberto. And Gianmarco doesn't say many words in English language. But we always have a nice sort of hello, and that's about the extent of it, as opposed to discussing the economics of whatever. And there is Ben Valent, Tibor there with him. He's another one of these young drivers, congratulated there by his driver coach Vitantonio Liuzzi. And here's Ophir Levy. He's done a brilliant job as well, because he is the P3 driver in the Pirelli Am, category. First up, we will hear from our Pirelli race winner and championship winner in terms of the World Championship. And that is Ben Valent from Ferrari Budapest Rosso Corsa.
Wow, Ben, congratulations, you are the world champion. First of all, did you expect, and what do you feel?
Well, I'm really happy to be here. I mean, it's an amazing feeling. It was a really tricky race. We didn't have the pace on the dry, but the team made an amazing call to switch to the wet tires as early as possible, which secured us the win. So well, I'm really happy, and I'm really happy with the team and everyone else. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So Ben's there alluding to the fact that it was the team's call to put those wets on as early as they did. There's Roberto Perina, P2 in the World Championship. That is an awesome result, as he's congratulated. There's Daniel Mancinelli, driver coach, and well done to Roberto Perina. Congratulated by all and sundry down there. We will be hearing from James Owen. That will be interesting. So Meridian Modena and Engstler Motorsport engineer the car of James Owen. James Owen is world champion.
Wow, James, congratulations. A very tough race. How do you feel?
I feel elated. We made a gamble with the wets and it worked. So we had the safety car and we pitted, put wets on, and then we just drove to the win. Yeah, it was great. Fantastic team effort, and yeah, really pleased.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, James. As the Pirelli Am cars then left the grid for their world final race, Giacomo Altoe and Luca Ludwig looking very squirrely going into the first chicane. Luca Ludwig having to take to the gravel, but he maintained his momentum. Marco Zanassi and Klaus Sabranson got together there, and that was pretty physical. And around went Frank Szczesniak. Now, this was Klaus Sabranson through the grass and collecting Luigi Coluccio through no fault of his own, and you could see the reactions on the pit wall. And well, Klaus and Luigi discussing that, and both drivers walking away perfectly okay from their cars. Andrew Morrow and James Owen were having a real ding-dong battle, and the weather conditions changed somewhat with the rain coming down like never before. Giacomo Altoe really struggling. Every driver really struggling, except those drivers that had made a call to go onto the wet weather tyres earlier than these two, Giacomo Altoe and Luca Ludwig. Then we saw out in the gravel was Jay Logan. Now that meant that out came the safety car, and it would be James Owen that would win the race overall and take the Finale Mondiale win for Pirelli Am, and it would be Ben Valent who would win in the Pirelli category for the Trofeo Pirelli cars and the world champion win. And James Owen was pretty happy, congratulated by his father, and of course Ben Valent was delighted as well, and so too was Gianmarco Mazzioletti taking P2 in the Pirelli Ams. What a race. Up next, we'll be heading up to the podium. Now, it will be the Pirelli podium first, I suspect. And we will see Benz Valent, Roberto Perina, and Giacomo Altoe taking P3. Here indeed is Giacomo Altoe. Well, it may be P3 in the world final, but he's had a stellar season. Roberto Perina, P2 for Scuderia 1999 and Ferrari of Seattle. And Benz Valent, young whippersnapper that he is, takes P1, and here's the national anthem. Applausi, applausi, which in English language means your applause, please. And Antonello Coletta, global head of Ferrari Endurance and Corsa Clienti, making the trophy presentation to Giacomo Altoe. Chief Commercial and Marketing Officer, Mr. Enrico Galliera, making the trophy presentation to Roberto Perina. And, wow. Chief Executive Officer Benedetto Vigna making the trophy presentation to Benz Valent. And Lucio Vergani from Pirelli is here to make the Pirelli trophy to Benz Valent as well. So we welcome everyone back onto the podium for the photographs. Of course, two podiums to come, the Pirelli podium and the Pirelli Am podium in the World Championship race. Benz Valent, Roberto Perina, and Giacomo Altoe. What a race. Drama with a capital Dr. So Mr. Coletta, Mr. Vigna, and Mr. Galliera make haste their escape before the bubbly is released. P3 for Emil Frey Racing and Giacomo Altoe. P2 for Roberto Perina. And P1 for Benz Valent. There he is for Ferrari Budapest and Rosso Corsa, the team playing an ace card in strategic terms in that race. But Benz had to pedal the car. So it's Pirelli Am podium next. Taking P3 off Air Levy for Ferrari of Silicon Valley. Taking P2, it's Gianmarco Martialetti. And on the top step of the podium, here comes James Owen. Andrea Bertolini then to make the trophy presentation to Ofer Levy. And Olivia Beretta making the trophy presentation to Gianmarco Marzioletti. And Davide Rigon making the trophy presentation to our world champion, James Owen. And the Pirelli trophy, of course, to be awarded and presented by Lucio Vigani for Pirelli. He is indeed their motorsport manager. So our trophy presenters and, of course, our top three on the podium for the photographs. And there's Bobby Thompson, driver coach to James Owen. Perfect strategy, perfect execution by James to win the world final race. And James is quickest with the champagne race as well. So the top three drivers and the cars that took them to their positions, as you can see on screen. What an absolutely extraordinary and dramatic finale Mondiale event it has been. So for everybody, thank you so much for watching all of the Ferrari Challenge for 2024, and we look forward to seeing you in 2025. Bye-bye for now.